Welcome to Nomad at Night, starring the one and only Nomad.
Yo, No Maniacs, what's good? This is Nomad at Night. I'm your friendly host, Nomad, and I got my guy, the trusty over there to my right, Ked's a Canuck. We got J2K right up under here, our super producer, and we got back for the second time, man. The Naj came back to join us. We're making him part of the family. We don't care if you like it or not. He's one of us now, and we're gonna try to get him on as many times as we can. As you can see, he looks like, if you don't know the Netflix show called Sweet Tooth, that's exactly what Naj looks like right now. And Ked's before the show. And that's exactly what it looks like, man. That's a great background, Naj. You should be proud of it. I love it. Hey, you guys, welcome to the show. I'm seeing a lot of people in there, but I'm not going to steal Ked's job. I'm going to leave that for him. But, hey, man, we're about to have a great show tonight. We're going to have fun like we always do on Nomad at Night. That's what this show is about, having fun, but also talking about some real football conversations with our Chicago Bears. And as you guys know, training camp is right there around the corner. You're probably sniffing it. I am. I'm definitely sniffing it and getting ready for it. The storm is coming. The storm is coming. You're going to get more content, probably more often. I know some people probably are mad at us right now because we don't have constant content out there like we were having for a while. But, everybody needs to take time off because we know it's going to get hella busy here in a couple of weeks. And we need to fuel up, get those that energy tank plugged in, man, and make sure we got what we need to carry us through the season. And we're going to do just that, man. We're not that far from actual football and practice and, training camp. And before you know it, we'll be rolling into that Hall of Fame game. And this thing is going to start getting real. But before we get into that, man, let's give out some pleasantries, man. Let's go around and give out some pleasantries before we get going.
First off, you stole my joke, Nomad. That's terrible. That was cold-blooded. That was my joke with the whole sweet tooth thing. But anyways, what's cracking, No Maniacs? Sunday night, enjoy. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Hopefully you had a good 4th of July. Hopefully you had a good Canada Day, wherever you're at. It's been one of those weeks that just flies by, right? At least it definitely did for this guy. Let's give some love to you guys out there in the wind, in the world. We got Patty Laura, our favorite. How you doing, Patty? Junior's with us. Jay Grizz is with us. Who else we got? Oh, the Plankster and She Plank's down with us, too. How you doing, She Plank? Victor Tangent is out there. Black Diamond. Petty Murphy, what it do? Who else we got? Cornelius Squalls, number 3, No Maniac. How's it going, Cornelius? How are you, sir? We got Charles Johnson with us today. Am I missing any folks? It's Crimson's rocking and rolling with us today. We've also got FFG Style, and I think that rounds out all the No Maniacs out there, at least that I can see. Maybe I'm missing something out there. But anyways, yo, what up? Hopefully you guys are hyped. We're going to chop it up as per normal. I'm going to throw it to my guy, J2K. J2K, what do you got to say today, bro?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Keds, do you want to talk about your fantasy football show?
Absolutely. So this is really what we've been doing behind the scenes, right? So we've got some cool stuff. We're cooking up some really cool stuff, and that's part of the reason why we're not coming at you every single day, because we got some stuff cooking up in the lab, and it kind of looks a little bit like this. Superflex Fantasy Football Podcast and League. For all you fantasy football fans out there, join me and the crew from Nomad at Night, the Nomad Network. We'll have some other special guests with us as we go through the season. We're going to start a league here. And basically what I'm talking about is multiple leagues. Anybody can join, and it's going to be super fun. I'm going to shout you guys out, give you guys some love as the season goes on, give love to the players out there. it should be an awesome community building situation. I'm hyped about it. Hopefully you guys are too. We're gonna blow it up with this fantasy league, yo. I'm excited. Hopefully we can get some of you guys to join. There'll be more details to follow real soon. We're just getting things right, cooked up, nice and lovely. Me and J2K and Nomad as well. Lots of help back here and lots of support, and I appreciate that from all these guys here. So, you guys will be impressed when it comes down. Can't wait.
Sir. Yeah, absolutely. I'm super hyped for the new show, Fantasy Football with Keds. I know Keds has been doing fantasy football, running a league for 12 years now, I think. Something like that.
Something like that. It's been quite some time.
So he's incredibly knowledgeable. You're gonna love him. He's the same guy you've gotten to know and love this whole time. So shout out to Keds and this new adventure that he's on. I'm super hyped to be a part of it. And as you can see, I've got a new logo. So all this design stuff that I've had the opportunity to do with the Nomad Network for Keds, for all other people out there, I'm pushing forward to do a whole graphic design thing for the community. And this extends to all you guys in the chat. You know, you guys are all a part of the community, and hit me up on Twitter at J2K Designs. And I'm happy to help you guys out. It's a volunteer thing for me. So if you guys need something personal, a business card, a logo, whatever you might need in life, I'm happy to be there to help you guys out. Just my way to give back to everybody. I got a little short snippet just to hype it up a little bit. So here we go.
Okay, J2K, I need you to run that back one more time. Just one more time. All right. I just wanted to lay my eyes on it one more time. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and please, you guys, don't be shy and hit me up on Twitter. I'm happy to help you guys. It's all about the community. I do this for Keds and Nomad and all of you guys because I just happy to be a part of it. So I appreciate you guys. And another person who's joined us and been a part of the show for a while is the Naj. There he is sitting there with those badass antlers. How you doing, Naj?
I'm doing okay. Thanks, J2K. Just a few more shout outs to everybody. Good to see you, and Maz. Let's see who else is in the house. Crimson You Dig is always here. Good to see you, my brother. Jason, welcome to the No Maniacs. And Cornelius Mofuga, good to see everybody. Hope everybody participates in the Fantasy League. It's always fun. You know, I kind of got involved with it a little bit last year, and from a hiatus of a few years. And it's always good to see what's going on in the league. Keeps you entertained when the Bears aren't playing, and you get to know the league a little bit better. So, and you just mix it up, do a little trash talking, make some trades with people. It's just a good time. So, over to you, Chief Nomad.
Well, thank you guys for being here, especially you, Naj, for jumping on again with us, man. We're going to make you part of the family whether you want to or not. We'll hold your ass hostage if we need to, Jack. We'll do it. Just to let you know, man, we love you and we appreciate you for being here. And that goes for everybody else in the chat that may or may not want to be a part of the show. Shake off your jitters, man. It's okay. You can come on the show and enjoy yourself live on the show. You can come out of the chat sometimes. You don't have to actually be a part of the show all the time and stay through the duration if you don't want to, or you don't, or you can't. You can come on and say hi. I'll send you an invite. Say, tell everybody hello. I'm busy with my grandbabies or whatever's going on with you that day. But you're more than welcome. All you have to do is reach out to one of us, whether it's me, Kez, J2K, or whoever else, Brian, doesn't matter. Just reach out to us, and you know the email. I'll put that up later. But reach out, man. You want to get on here and say hello. You want to be a part of the show. Man, all we have to do is meet up in StreamYard, have a quick conversation, and it's pretty much a done deal. So no problem with having you guys on. Naj is a No Maniac, and he's part of the Nomad Network, whether he wants to be or not. Damn it, we just claimed him. So that's what that is now. And by the way, that offer J2K just gave you guys, just understand how much of a blessing he just offered to anybody anybody that wants to be an upstart podcaster, wants to do Bears content, that's a blessing. That's a blessing because it's hard to find people like him with good energy and willingness to do what it takes to help you get yourself a good start. And I will double that for J2K and offer myself. I don't offer a whole lot by way of helping someone technically. I can give you a few tips here and there, but direction and how to go about doing something, I could be an ace in the hole for somebody that wants to get started with the podcast because I have enough failure over here to damn tell you what not to do. That's for damn sure. So, I could definitely help some people if you reach out to me, you touch base with me, and you need some advice about how to get it set up, how you want it to look, what kind of plan you want to have, how to do this thing business wise. I can help you in that department, and J2 King can do the same thing as well. But everybody that I'm involved with here on this network, man, they are good spirits, very helpful people, and very willing to want to give someone a chance to do their own thing out here. So I definitely want to say thank you for everybody out here. Just I think I can do that for them. Thank you, J2K, in advance for whatever you're going to do for these people moving forward, because it's definitely assisted me in a great way. So thank you.
Before you move off of that, let me echo that as well. J2K has given me a lot of support, yo. Like a lot of these graphics is all J2K, and I can't thank him enough. You guys will be very surprised on his expertise and his level of creativity. He's done a great job of just sort of taking me as a person, sort of understanding me and making a brand around that. And you guys will see that as we move forward with some of the cool new stuff that I'm going to do. If you wish similar support, basically the guy's saying he's here to support you. And reach out.
Please do. I appreciate it.
Two other things. What up, Adam Mason? Good to have you in the chat. How you doing? Rex Smith, what's up? And there was one last person I saw. Oh, Berlissimo in Florida Bears fan. What up, Berlissimo? What up, Bears fan? I'll give everybody a little bit of love out there. But face to face as well. Like you guys have no clue. The guy's a mastermind.
And quick shout out to FFG Style for the $2 super chat. Playoff primer, because I hope that is the goal. Damn right it is. Right it is, man. You know what, FFG Style, I'm gonna be totally upfront. I do not like putting playoff pressure on a rookie quarterback at all. I don't like it whatsoever. I don't think it's fair, but under the circumstances, I know that the fan base won't get off of that narrative, and that's what they're going to expect. A playoff run. This is what they're going to expect from this team with a rookie quarterback. And I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. I don't. I think they can get it going because we have a good enough defense. And, this whole conversation about what is Chicago-style football is going to lend to your comment there, FFG. And where we're going to go down the line with that conversation is going to lend right to that. And so, as much as I don't like the pressure being put on a rookie, because he still is a rookie, I don't give a damn how good he is. He's a rookie. But, that pressure is going to be there whether I like it or not. And the only thing we can do as a fan base is kind of embrace it, because it ain't going nowhere. So the only thing we can do is give it positive energy, good vibes, and try to push that, help push it, because that's where he is, and he's in that space. This team is in that space, expected to go down a playoff run. So, hey, again, thank you for the super chat, FFG. Man, let's get this chat going. Let's get this conversation going in the right direction. I want to know what the hell everybody is drinking tonight, because every time we come to the Nomad at Night show, people are drinking something. I'm drinking something. It's the same thing I had last week. I got a damn shot of Jameson and a goddamn beer. That's what I got. That's
what I was gonna say. Same thing we do.
Let's just
every Sunday at this time.
Let's talk about what we got going on. Everybody in the chat.
I got some Appletons and OJ as per normal on a Sunday night.
Got a crown already from Bears Junkie 23 Hall of Fame. Crown, I love it. But go ahead, kids.
Hey man, I'm just saying, same thing we do about this time. I got my Appletons and OJ ready to go, and let's keep it rocking and rolling. J2K, what do you sip around?
Oh, I got some Imperial IPA from Voodoo Ranger, New Belgium. It
New
is
Belgium.
very delicious. Yeah. I forget who the artist was, but actually, Ralph Steadman. Does that name ring a bell for anybody?
What
Ralph
does it taste like?
Steadman.
What you got to taste like? Prune juice?
He did all the Fear and Loathing, Las Vegas stuff. He's pretty well known for his artwork. It's a little edgy. What's it taste like? Oh man, it's a Imperial IPA, so it's got a whole lot of flavor.
I'm seeing Hennessy. I'm seeing Grey Goose. I just saw
Where'd Goose go? Who's
I saw
Goose?
Juan, I think, or somebody put in a tequila. Let me see what else we got here.
Yeah, I
Box
want
wine,
you got tequila going on.
Victor. We got
Yo, I got the Henny out.
Mo Fogger with the Miller Lite and Jameson. My guy Mo Fogger. That's my kind of guy right there. Let me see. No drink per usual. It's Crimson. I have some lemon haze this week.
All right, it's Crimson. I should have known.
Reef Donkey from Tampa Bay Brewing Company. I never heard of that one. Good one.
Gin straight. Tyrone Miller steps in. Straight, no chasing, Tyrone. That's
Vodka, Modelo, cheeseburger, large fries. That's what I'm talking about. Bear Truth is living that life. Bear Truth Diet is living that life. That's
he's got it going on tonight, man.
Hell yeah.
Back,
Boy.
watching some Nomad
Double
Network.
cheeseburger fries. Yo, you ain't playing.
Ranch and
No, I'm
chili.
hungry now.
Chili as a dipping sauce.
Man,
What you did?
have to have a couple strokes. Charles Johnson said, unfortunately, after having a couple strokes, Arizona tea is about as hard as I can get it to go. Hey, man, no, I ain't mad at you, Charles, man. You do what's best for you and your body, man. Don't let these knuckleheads in the chat make you want to drink something you don't need for yourself. But, hey, while we still can, I'm going to drink it up. Let me see. What else?
You drinking Henny. Oh, that's just okay.
19 Crimes.
Some y'all ain't playing.
What's
19 Crimes Red Blend. Is that a wine?
It sounds like a wine.
I don't know, man, but it sounds good. It's red. I know that.
Sounds like if you drink it, you commit 19 crimes. So I'm
Yeah,
worried.
right.
Or
was that what he's
Jake
doing
Riz,
tonight, and then what he's
Red
drinking?
wine.
I'm going to be committing 19 crimes, but I'm drinking some Red Blend.
Is that before?
Oh, I
or
love you,
after
Jake
the wine?
Riz. You're the man.
Wait, Henny Especial. I don't know if I've seen that one. Hennessy Especial. My mother has a bar. She's probably got it. I haven't even
Yo,
seen it.
chicken salad chaser.
Hazy
right
beer.
on.
I love it, Patty. I love hazy beer.
Grizz he's got red wine.
Corn. Yes. Yo,
Corn?
yo, on the cob with some butter. Hey,
Oh, there you go.
Done with the St. Ides.
oh,
J2K, I was going to tell you this I put it in the chat and a few shows ago. There's this really good German beer that's great for the summertime. It's called Schafferhofer, and they have like a little bit of like a citrus flavor to them. The one that I've really tried that I really like is the grapefruit one.
Nice.
It's perfect for the summertime.
Nice.
But it's Schafferhofer. Schafferhofer.
And does it have
For
the little like
Schafferhofer.
umlaut dots, the two dots above one of the? I think I know
Yes.
that one. I know that beer.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really good. They have a pineapple one too now. I haven't tried, but I've tried the grapefruit. It's really, really good. It's perfect for the summertime.
Nice. Yeah, San Diego's got a grapefruit IPA. It's called a Sculpin.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's absolutely delicious.
Man, hey, you guys, you know what? Keep those drinks coming, man. I'm having fun reading these. I'm getting quiet because I'm reading everything people are putting in there. I love when we do that.
real talk, Joe. Rex Smith is done with it, though. I'm just saying. he ain't being real. Rex being cold, but he's like, hey, man, yeah, enough with the drink.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. We're gonna get to the conversation about the thumbnail here, but we got to cover a couple of other stories. But really quick, remember when last time we were on, I think it was Tuesday, when we were telling everybody to be safe for the 4th of July. Have a good time, party, be safe. Man, there's the story out of South Carolina. A 41-year-old man who's married, has a family, I think he had a 21-year-old kid that they were having a engagement party for. He was getting married, and they had an engagement party on the 4th at the same time. Puts this large. I'm not gonna, I could go to the website and actually read the thing to you, but I'll just tell you the story. He puts a firework on his head, and you guys let me know in the chat if you've seen the story. He puts a large firework on his head, like some kind of big firecracker, M80, M90, whatever the hell it was, M60, and not knowing, and he had on a large Uncle Sam suit. What's that?
Sorry, not knowing.
Okay, I'm gonna explain myself.
Continue.
So he had on this Uncle Sam suit. He had this big red, white, and blue flagged up suit with a big Abraham Lincoln, just real comical type of bozo type of hat on his head, really big hat on his head, and he put the firework on top of his head, the whatever kind of firecracker it was, M60, M80, whatever it was, not understanding the dynamics of explosion and those types of fireworks.
Yeah.
And so people just assume that those fireworks explode up and out. No, some of those fireworks explode down. They explode down and out and over. And so this guy put it on his head. Everybody told him, hey, don't do that, blah, 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 blah. He put it on his head and partially blew his head off, dead on arrival. Mo Fugger just said he sent me a pic on Twitter. And I'll try to get to it here in a minute, Mo Fugger. I'm gonna try to remember that. But man, it was a 41-year-old man. You don't want to. I don't want to put down someone that's passed away, because he does have a family, and you don't want to be foul like that. But man, oh man, I think if he were here to talk about what he just did, if he had the opportunity to talk about what he did, I think even he would call that stupid. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, kind of, right? And so I hope everybody made it back to the show. I hope everybody made it back to the show all in one piece with all their fingers, limbs.
How are you gonna say that? How am I supposed to follow that?
What, man? Why are you laughing about that?
Because you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's great. That was good. I like that. I can't follow that.
Ain't it the truth?
I just don't understand the mentality. Someone would think that would be a smart thing to do. It's just sad. 41-year-old man. Crazy.
So my kids had, there was like this little skit or whatever, like a little cartoon when my kids were younger, and like there was a song, and with dumb ways to die, and that's all that's kind of running through my head is dumb ways to die.
It is
all I can think of.
It is morbid, but it's also ridiculously sad, man. Like somebody at that age that doesn't know better than that, man. Like that stuff ain't to be played around with. It's fun to look at. You like the stuff and you get out of the way, man. You don't put that. He had a hollow top hat on, dressed like Uncle Sam. And it was ridiculous to think that he thought that hat would I guess buffer him and the explosion. I mean, it's crazy that people are that crazy to think that, Anyway, man, I just had to throw that out there. But while we're on a kind of a morbid conversation, man, unfortunately over the weekend, Vikings cornerback,
peace, cornerback. Sorry, I just caught that. Let's just give this man a little bit of respect. It's Crimson threw it out there. I'm trying to highlight it too, and I'm clicking all over the rock.
Yeah,
give it Crimson some love. Rest in peace to the homie that blew his head off with a firework.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Rest in peace, Doc. It's an unfortunate accident. We're all sorry.
Man. So if you haven't
in
heard
other news,
Kyrie
Yeah, no problem.
Jackson, rookie cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings, by way of Oregon, who was also, if you guys go back and you might want to watch that Big Board show when we did cornerbacks that night. He was one of my top corners on that list.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's physically about as talented as any cornerback that came out in the draft. Physically, his traits.
Yeah.
Because you don't see 6'4" guys be able to move like Kyrie Jackson can. It's not actually normal. He had the foot speed and foot quickness of a 5'9" guy that's 175 pounds. He's 6'4", 195 pounds. He absolutely was a physical stud and had a lot of upside, man. And I thought that he could, really, really make some hay in this league and turn himself into a star player, man. What happened was, this is me paraphrasing what I heard. Sounded like he was he was out with some friends. I'm not sure if he was the driver, but they left. I don't know who was drinking. But all I know is two or three other people lost their lives during that incident. So I just wanted to send a bless up to Kyrie Jackson and everybody else that lost their life during that unfortunate incident. Just goes to show you, man, just got to be careful, when you're out and about, especially what time of day or night it is. If you're out too late, you got to just assume, there's a good percentage of people out there driving around at that time, especially if you're in like a brewery district or a party area, club, like nightlife type of scenery. You got to know that this probably most of these people are slightly intoxicated at the minimum. So, I don't know what Kyrie's particular situation was in that car. I don't think he was the driver, but man, what an unfortunate incident right when he makes it to the league. And I just wanted to give a shout out and a blessing, good vibe to his family, man, because that's a huge loss.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to say that and pass it on to the Canucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the Jackson family. Blessings there. Unfortunate accident, definitely a talent and a talent that we showcased here earlier in the season, and it's unfortunate that we won't get to see a little bit more of that on the field. But more importantly, he'll definitely be missed. Blessings.
Yeah, it's very sad news. Any death that's an accident is very sad news. Same with the guy with the fireworks. Happens every year on 4th of July. People get excited. They do silly things. Unfortunately for Kyrie Jackson, he wasn't drinking. He was struck by another vehicle, and that person survived, but had been drinking. And it's just a testament to don't drink, don't drive. It never ends well. So, Kyrie Jackson, he was such a great pleasure to watch on film. I enjoyed it. I was really excited to watch him play with the Vikings, even though he's a rival team. Still a human, and I respect his game. I respect him as a person, and I feel for his family and his loved ones. So just shout out to all the Jackson family and everybody who knew him, that, he touched many people more than just the people who knew him. We all watched him play. So just appreciate the life that we got to see, and just hold his memory close to us, and, do what we can. It's life.
Damn. What say you, Naj?
Well, I kind of know Kyrie pretty well. I grew up, and I'm still a University of Washington Husky fan, first and foremost. That's my go-to college. And he really had some battles against Rome Odunze. And I was really looking forward to the two of them playing head-to-head twice a year. And, life's too short. He was only 25 years old, 4th-round pick. And like you said, Nomad, 6'4", physical. I was really looking forward to see his talent, and especially going battle against Caleb and Rome together. I mean, they're all roughly the same age, and it's just a sad situation. And then one more thing I wanted to bring up when you were talking about fireworks is during the 4th up at the stadium that's in Provo, Utah, there was a fireworks display going off inside the stadium, and they went awry and went into the stands, went into the field, and reading this report, there were 6 people were injured from that. Luckily, no one was killed, but I did read the other day that one person had a firework hit him right in the face. So you just don't know, just got to be vigilant during this 4th of July because anything can happen. So and then blessings to everyone in the Jackson family. It's just a sad situation. Go ahead, Nomad.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say to that is, again, RIP to Kyrie, man. I mean, man, just a lot of hopes for what he could have been, and not just as a football player, as a human, how people can evolve given time and become better people, better humans, But man, oh man, that just broke my heart when I heard about it. But yeah, that guy with the fireworks on his head, man, I don't know what to say to that. But at 41, you got it better than that. But let me share something with you guys right quick before we get into this conversation about the Bears. So Mufagra sent us something, and I'm going to share it with you guys.
It's not graphic, is it?
It's not graphic, but it makes me thirsty.
Oh, all right. I know he said he was shared the actual video.
Yeah, so Mufagra, he said, this shot is coming for you, amigo. Good looking, man. Good
Florida
looking.
State fan. All right.
I see that, man. Mo is my kind of guy, man. That's me. I'm a Florida State fan. That's my team. I don't know if you heard me say that before, but that's my
Is that
team.
a Blackhawk logo on the other bottle? Looks like it.
Sure is. But yeah, I got the same thing going on. Exactly the same thing going on, Mo. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. So let's get into it, man. We were talking in the green room about what we're going to talk about, and one of the subject lines was the fact that Caleb and Rome haven't signed their contracts yet, and I think it's starting to kids. I think it's starting to make people feel like the Roquan Smith situation. I think people are starting to get kind of vibes of that and all that. I don't think we're there, but I can make an argument for each side of this right here, but I'll just pass it on to the Canuck and let him bite it off first.
I'm not going to make an argument here. The fact of the matter is Caleb has his own organization and a team of lawyers to manage the situation. It's going to be a bit different than what the norm should be. And then you look at Roma Dunze, and Roma Dunze should more or less be the norm situation. I wonder what his representation actually looks like. I assume he has an agent. He's not working through his own organization, or maybe he's working with Caleb's organization. I don't know how
Caleb is his own agent right now, man. He's not working. Yeah, he doesn't have an agent representative as of this point.
He's got a team. He's got a business, right? His own team of lawyers that actually do this whole thing. So this is when they talk to him next week, he's going to say, "Hey, I'm hands off in this situation. I focus on football. Watch them next week. I focus on football. These guys will hatch this thing out. I'm sure it'll work out. When's the game? When's practice? Right? Like that's his mindset in this situation. And his lawyers as a team likely have never done this type of contract negotiation before. So a lot of red lines and a lot of contractual language case scenarios that are going to be a little bit interesting. So we'll see how it shakes out. I'm not worried about it, to be honest with you, this time around. Like even with guys like Roquan.
Kids, let me interrupt you real quick because Adam Mason just jumped in. What's going on, Adam? He's saying that there's rumor that they haven't signed the contract because they're planning to do it for Hard Knocks.
Okay.
That makes sense, Adam.
I haven't heard that one. That would make sense to get theatrical.
They probably got a commercial that they're practicing for too.
They might.
Sharpie pen.
Wow.
I can see that.
They
Well, I got a
might.
question for you guys. So, when Jalen Johnson came out and said, keep that Hollywood back at home, now Hard Knocks shows up and they're going to wait to sign the contract live with the Hollywood studio.
There you go.
I mean, I guess you just can't, you can't stop the media doing the media
Okay,
thing,
so-
right?
So Jalen Johnson said that, right? But maybe Jalen Johnson got a little taste of Hollywood. Maybe Jalen Johnson likes himself. Maybe he likes a little bit of Hollywood. Maybe he likes himself some Hollywood.
So,
I think Jalen Johnson needs a bit of Hollywood. I'll be honest with you, because I don't know if you guys know, like I know, but he kind of got left off a list this week that I think he should have been on. And that's all I got to say about that. As a matter of fact, I think this whole this back seven is top 5 in the league. I'm just gonna say that out loud. Back 7, top 5. Let's go. Any team, line them up. Let's see how we do this season, because Jalen Johnson will lead that list.
well, before you guys go any further, I'm going to pour a little bit of fuel on this fire, and this is to you guys in the chat too. How about looking at it from two perspectives? I could see why the organization would be kind of not so fast, because the organization, I don't know all the nuances of contract work, dollars and cents. I don't get steeped. I'm not steeped into all that. There's nothing wrong with admitting what you're not good at and all that kind of stuff. That's not my bag. But, those are dollars and cents that you have to account for later on as other contracts come up. And so, you have to be measured there. Now, from the player standpoint, from Caleb and Rome's standpoint, I can understand them with the little bit of leverage that they have. They know that the future is built around them. Right? They know that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. The future of the Chicago Bears is built largely upon Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. Use that little bit of leverage to squeeze every dollar you can, guaranteed. Now, I quote guaranteed. I put my circle around that to get every guaranteed dollar you can out of this situation while you can get it out of this situation. So I can understand why they're not in a rush to hurry up and sign a contract. Can you guys understand both sides of that?
I can understand the businessman in Caleb Williams, and I'm intrigued. At the end of the day, this is a business move. Hey, you know what? Let me hold off a little bit. Oh, we got Hard Knocks. Imagine that. So maybe we, maybe Hard Knocks, you slice us a little something.
I think they got something planned. They're going to ham it up like these high school kids when they sign off for all these,
like UFC,
these college programs,
bro,
with the
UFC.
hats and everything else. I mean, they got something brewing. I can guarantee it, and it's going to be both of them together.
FFG is asking. He's asked me. He said, "Hey, Nomad, what do you think about PFF ranking us as the 19th ranked secondary?" So PFF is a what would you say?
Reputable.
They're reputable, but they're analytics driven, right? Am I correct when I say that, J2K?
I don't know about that specific article. I know PFF likes to be analytic driven, but I think they've kind of jumped into an arena where they're getting a little more opinionated.
I whatever it is it insulting that they ranked us as the 19th best secondary in the league? It kind of is, but I don't know, by way of number and percentages how that all stacks up. Maybe they got that from a source that analytics can provide for you to say that the 19th ranked team in the NFL defensively in the secondary is the Chicago Bears. I don't know how they got to that number, but if it got to that number by that measure, then you can't do anything but respect it. But when you look at it on film and look at it like game action, that secondary I thought was probably, I'd say that secondary was top 10 in the league by the time everything came together towards the end of the year. I would say
correct, but the end of the year, you're absolutely right.
And I didn't.
Beginning of the year was something different.
Yeah, I didn't put much thought into
Beginning of the year, there were guys that were playing zone, and there were guys just covering grass. I remember those first 3 or 4 games, and it did not look good.
Yeah, and so just looking at film. Film is my Bible. I say that all the time. Film is my Bible. Looking at it on film, I'd have to put at the minimum we had a top 10 ranked secondary at towards the end of the year. Anybody want to
Yes.
disagree with that? We might have been up a little higher than that, 7, 10. I don't know, but I think it was balling its ass off, and so I think that was definitely a slap in the face by PFF. But I don't know how they got to that measure.
Yeah, and I think we've improved. I think that Stevenson is going to be a much better player. At the end of the year, he was playing really well. At the beginning, it was pretty rough. And adding Byard to the mix over Jackson, I think that's an upgrade. I think Brisker moving into a free safety / strong safety role where he's not constantly in the box and it's not obvious to offensive coordinators and quarterbacks. I think we've improved. I thought we were a top 5 secondary. I think our biggest issue is getting to the quarterback until Montez Sweat got here, is when we actually started showing we had a good secondary. So maybe PFF is looking at the season as a whole, but if you look at the last 8 games, we're top 5.
Of course,
yeah,
they
I think you're right.
The season as a whole. The beginning of the season, the secondary. Hold on. It's not that the secondary was bad. We're talking about Jalen Johnson, who's great. Kyler Gordon is great at what he does. The rookie was being a rookie. He didn't come into his own until a few games down the road. A lot of physical played from the rookie early on. But the thing is, the pass rush wasn't there. It all comes down to the pass rush, right? Once the pass rush finally started to solidify, okay, now you can jump balls. Now you can jump routes. And we start getting interceptions. Things start going the other way. It's not the secondary that's the issue. It was really rattle the quarterback a little bit. Give them that second to figure what's going on, and now the secondary can actually attack. And when they did, I'm saying it for this season, top 5. Maybe that ranking is for last season, on paper. Cool. Sure. 19. 2024, watch. Top 5 secondary. Where's the wood?
Yeah, so Jason with the $1.99 super. Hope the secondary uses that as leverage. If I was a coach, I'd have that motherfucker pasted all over the
absolutely
19. That as soon as I heard about it, I'd have had I had the people in the press area, all the people, public relations people, get me 25, 30 fucking copies of that. Big copies of it, big, huge fucking copies of it.
Shout out, Jason.
All over the goddamn locker room. That's exactly what I did. So, Jason, you're right. I hope they do use it as fuel. I know that kind of stuff motivated me. Articles and paper and people doing printouts like that. That definitely, whenever I heard any kind of slight, I'm that kind of competitive person anyway. You slight me in some kind of way, watch and see what happens. You know what I mean? So, I'm hoping they got a bunch of guys in the locker room that's feeling that kind of angst about that, man. So, yeah, I'd have that shit all over the place in the locker room if I was the coach, man. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Man. But that being said, man, let's hold on. Give me 1 second, guys.
They're gonna be looking at the number 19
so
all season long.
one more thing about the Caleb and Rome situation. If they don't have that by the time training camp opens up, kids, are you worried? J2K, are you worried? Are you worried, Naj?
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm actually not at all. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the situation at all. Reason being, it's only contractual language, right? It's not like they're talking about dollars and cents or anything like that. These rookie contracts are, again, more or less set in stone. Things that they can question are like, when is my bonus to be paid to me? Right? Like if you've got a set amount of money that is supposed to come up front, the question is when do you get the money? Can I have some money now? Or do I have to wait till this particular date that you have? Right? Discretionary stuff. but they want, they're going to want to change language, and that's fine. That's what lawyers do. They're going to look over that contract and find a bunch of places to put some red marker on it. So either way, I think we probably actually nailed it. Adam Mason, shout out to you one more time, brother, in the chat. Shout out to you. I think you might have nailed it. I think it might just be a spin. And hey, I think Caleb's a businessman. He's businessman enough to spin it into a couple of bucks for him in Rome, and maybe the show.
Yeah, I think Jason hit the nail on the head. Said exactly what you were saying, kids. At this point, rookie contracts. There have been so many of them, and you're slotted in a certain area. It's only so much leeway an agent can move the contract around just based on history and precedent. So I'm not worried at all. I definitely think that it is a Hard Knocks thing, signing the contract, part of episode number 1. Hey, it'll be fun to watch it, Hollywood's in Chicago.
What say you, Notch?
Yeah, we're always the last to know. I think it's just all, it's all slotted, and it'll come to fruition real quick next week or two, tops. And it's just, it's on TV. It's a dramatization. So I think we're good to go. It'll be fun.
So someone just called for a community shot. Somebody just called for a community shot. That means drinks up, everybody, man. I'm about to take one for the community. And everybody that does the same. Somebody just asked for a community shot. On 3, we're going to give it, man. So if you did that, give a thumbs up after you've done it. So you can acknowledge somebody that asked for it. I can't remember exactly who said it, but here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Salute.
Salute. Woo! I think we ought to make that a thing, community. I like that.
I like it.
But here's my thing about the contract. I don't have any problem with, all the noise around it, people not, being signed up. But I will have a problem if they don't get it done by training camp and somebody holds out. If somebody starts holding out, I have a problem with that.
Hold up for what?
I mean, getting more guaranteed money, man. That's the new. You ever heard of orange is the new black? Green is the new black. God damn it. They trying to get that guaranteed money, man. They trying to get that guaranteed money and as much of it as they can. Just saying.
Well, I wonder if we were so fortunate that we constantly signed our rookies earlier than any other team for years. We did that. And now, this is kind of under Ted Phillips when this happened. Now this is the first sign that, a contract hasn't been signed yet, and maybe people are getting a little bit worried. But I think the Hard Knocks thing, I think that makes a ton of sense. Sign it on live coverage, make a big deal about it. I'm not worried about it until they're asking to put some pads on, and if those guys aren't in the room, that's it.
So again, shout out to good old Adam Mason, man. By all means, we gotta have you, but we gotta have you on the show one of these days again, bro. It's good to have you in the chat. Adam's saying that the contract, the guaranteed money is set, like it's set, and I had to bring it up. It's already set. It's really just a question of when to get it. Can I have money now? How much money can I have now out of the money that's guaranteed to me? Like that's the red. That's the red lines, yo. That's what the Lord. Hey, we're highlighting that. You're saying that we only get this much money right now? No. Just slide us a little bit more, and we'll be happy. And that's what they're going back and forth about and how to figure that out. But real talk, I think you guys nailed it, though. I think you guys, Adam and Jason in chat, I think you guys nailed it. I think it's a spin. I think Caleb Williams is a brilliant businessman, and I got to give him shots for doing it.
And actually, Bare Truth 9, you're totally right. It was Cliff Stein. I think I just remember the era of Sweaty Teddy.
Hey, like Cheers to that being over. You know,
Right?
Absolutely.
cheers to that for
Hey
sure.
man, I hadn't even heard of a whole sweaty Teddy thing until like 2 years ago. I didn't know people was calling him that. When I heard it, I just busted out effing laughing. I was busting the fuck up. I was just like, he does. I mean, Jesus. Why? How did they start calling him that? Did he come to a presser and start sweating out bad? What happened, man? How did we get there? Nobody
I
knows.
think he just always had a little bit of like a shine to him. Like he's just naturally a greasy guy. He works with money, so it gets a little greasy. I don't know.
Really quickly, man, if you guys want to know what's ticking on the bottom of the screen, so we've got 1,755 subscribers. We're trying to get to 2,000 by training camp. So what it's saying on there is tell us in the chat. So you're gonna have to get in the chat when you do it. If you're a new subscriber to the channel, let us know in the chat, in this chat right here, and we will shout you out during the show. We're trying to run those subs up, man. So let us know in the chat room if you become a new subscriber during the show, and we will shout you out. And so that's just a campaign we're trying to get on to get these subscribers up to 2,000. I think it's a pretty decent goal, man. But I think within the community, man, I think it's a lot of love and a lot of good vibes in here. And I have no doubt that we're going to get to it. It's just how fast can we do it? So let's race these subs up, man. And this is our campaign to try to do that, man. We're going to shout you out and let people know who you are if you just now subscribe to the channel. So that's that. And so let's get to this, man, because while that thing is ticking here, put that back up. So football, Chicago style football means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? And so me in my heart, man, I grew up having to watch VHS tapes, old ass VHS tapes of my pops of that Super Bowl 85 season. Oh, even older tapes than that, man. He had a bunch of old stuff. And football, Chicago style football looks a certain kind of way. It's a brand of football. I think we have a city with a certain kind of attitude. And that attitude is, we got hardworking people, blue collar people that go and work for a living. You know what I mean? It's not I hate to say California, J2K, but
oh no, you're gonna rub it in, huh?
Not really.
I'm on the West Coast, the best coast.
I love the West Coast, man. By contrast, J2K, you've been out here. By contrast, it's a different vibe, though, isn't it?
It is. I've been in Chicago many times.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is watching football over the years, whether it was on VHS tapes or just watching it live as I was growing up, I noticed that when we're successful, when the Bears are successful, there's a certain thing that's going on. It's a through line with those successful teams. Stellar fucking defense, number one. Number two,
absolutely,
running game. Those are the two things that I think of when I think about successful Bears football and what is football Chicago style. Those are the things that I think of, and I think the more that we embrace it and understand that this is who we are, when we're successful at Chicago Bears football, we have these things going on. Not to say that it has to stop there and we can't have an offense that throws the ball and slings it all over the yard. We can have that as well, but there's a through line with successful teams that play great defense and run the ball equally well, end up being championship caliber teams. Anybody want to disagree with me? Feel right. Go right ahead and feel free to do it.
Not with that weather.
That weather is not helpful. Hey, man, smash mouth football. That's why I love the Bears. At the same time, I have a strange feeling about to see some different stuff. And I'm all for that too. Right? There's one thing about tradition and the identity. I'm not so sure if Smash Mouth is the identity of this particular Chicago Bears football team. And I can't wait till we figure out what the actual identity of this team is. Who are these Chicago Bears? Right? The Chicago Bears under normal pretenses, again, Smash Mouth football. I don't know about 2024 Chicago Bears. Mind you, let's be real. Will we see some smash mouth? Yeah, it's principle. That's a smash mouth. That's really what that is. But that offense, we might be able. We might be. I can't wait to be pleasantly surprised by the offense in Chicago. I can't wait for the you know for Caleb to be the guy who changes that particular narrative. I can't wait for that to be the truth of the 2024 season, regardless as to whether it results in a playoff or results in a Super Bowl. I want that identity to be something new, refreshing, and different, but also traditional. Smash Mouth ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I think we're talking a little bit different eras, right? There was a time where running backs actually got drafted in the top 10, right?
No, top 10 drafts.
Multiple running backs.
Right, exactly. So we are in a different era, but I think when we're talking about Chicago style football, we're going back to that, linebackers, running backs, punch them in the mouth, So it is a different era, so it is a little bit different. I do think that we are going to have a very good defense. So there is an element.
We're going to have a great running back too.
A great running back room. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But in this modern version, now everybody's West Coast, spread the ball out, move people around. But what's great about the West Coast is that it goes right back to running the football. If you can have a fullback, two tight ends, and two wide receivers, they don't know what you're going to do. And if you can pass out of that and be athletic like San Francisco 49ers are, man, I mean, you can beat up on defenses.
J2K and I have had hella conversations about this. And I think a more recent conversation, we were looking at graphics and, what that looks like and that type of thing. It's something behind the scenes we were doing. But it was interesting to listen to him being someone from the West Coast that has visited Chicago and kind of knows, what the contrast is. And I believe, I don't see, I see Chicago the same way I see the Steelers, the same way I see the Baltimore Ravens. I think what's important, and this is the most important thing I'll say to you guys tonight, it regardless of how we see this team, I tell you one thing, Matt Eberflus sees this team the same way I just described it, as the Steelers or as the Ravens. Smash mouth football, control the line of scrimmage on defense and offense, and play that style of football and win games. Yes, do you have to throw the ball? Given some matchups, yeah, you're gonna have to throw. It could be a game where Caleb Williams throws that thing 35 times. It could be games like that. We'll have those. I think you have to choose what style you want to be, any given Sunday. But as a staple of who you are, like the mold of who you are, that's the idea of the conversation tonight. What do you think of when you think Chicago style football? It's different when you talk to people that aren't from here. So I had to move around the country a little bit and think and listen to other people answer that question for me. So long before we got to this conversation here on the show, I've been asking people, what is Chicago football to you? And overwhelmingly, people see it the same way that I see it. A defensive heavy team that's got great defenses and really run the football and basically knock you around. Physical, bruising team that are known to bully other teams. That's who we're supposed to be. That's who the Baltimore Ravens are right now. That's who the 49ers are right now. We need to get back to that. We sort of got. Go ahead, Nod. You got something on that?
We already beat the 49ers 2 years ago. They don't scare me one bit. It's a good team, though. Don't get me wrong. I was just going to say, I really think we're very similar to the Steelers in that you got Gary, Indiana, the steel mill, and you got Pittsburgh, steel mill there too. My dad grew up in Crown Point, Indiana, and his father and a lot of my dad's friends, we went to high school, their fathers worked at the steel mill. So I'd always go back to Crown Point and just hear all kinds of stories. Most everybody was a Bears fan. And like you said, it's built on defense. That's what I always grew up being a Bears fan. I always cared more about the defense than offense, but running the ball was a good point too. And then the bad weather. I used to love going to bad weather games at Soldier Field. In fact, I took my dad to. My dad's a Lions fan. Don't ask me why, but I took him to a Packers game at Soldier Field after Christmas one year, and all he did was complain about how cold it was. It didn't bother me one bit. That's just the way Bear fans are. You know, we like the cold weather, the bad weather. You know, that's just the mentality of being a Bears fan.
So you guys, listen, man. There is. I'm so glad that you brought that up, Naj, because that does come up. You know, I was talking to some people that lived in down in the Georgia area, and we were having this conversation, and we were having it over some beers and a bonfire. You know, it doesn't get too hella cold down in Georgia, man. It's not that far from Florida, so some people down there that I've met, they haven't even seen snow, you know, in their lives, you know, and so the cold. I mean, it used to be an advantage. I don't know that it is so much no more. You know, I don't know that cold weather is that much of an advantage anymore, because any team can go to a cold weather city and experience some brutal cold.
I don't know. The Dolphins look like they had a hell of a time when they played Kansas City during the playoffs.
Oh, you guys remember Michael Vick, Atlanta coming to Chicago, and Vick, like, he just didn't want to play the game. He was in that giant overcoat the whole time, just shaking his head, and he'd walk on the field and go 3 and out and just run back to the overcoat. Man, I remember that was like probably 10 years ago, but or longer.
I just want to beat teams with offense and defense. I don't really care about the weather.
You don't care how it's done.
Well, you know, I'm just saying,
Ted. It's the mystique of it all.
That is really what it is, and I'm not buying into the mystique. Maybe it's just me. I'm saying if it's cold for you, it's cold for everybody. So I'm not sure. You know, if your hands are frozen, the other guy's hands are also frozen. I don't see it.
Oh, in that game against Atlanta, Urlacher was sleeveless. Like half the defense was sleeveless. Like they came out just, we don't care. We're gonna punch you in the mouth, and we don't care. And that was the Lovie Smith era. That wasn't even going too far back. That was Bear football.
I'm familiar. I've watched all that stuff. I've seen a lot of crazy weather invoked games. Like, you know, LaShawn McCoy, as much trash as he talks about the Bears now, in the snow, he was a different guy, right? Like, I don't know who I wouldn't want to be on the defense against LaShawn McCoy running around in the snow. End of the day, just get like, hopefully one of these stadiums has a dome. Like, I'm just saying, I think it would be beneficial just put a roof over that thing.
Can I tell you a quick story, man? Once I went to a cold I'll just start this way, man, because the coldest game I played in was in high school. Man, it was like freaking 8 degrees out there with like a 20 below wind chill. And that wind chill,
that's cool.
Man, dude, let me tell you something. You know, adrenaline is adrenaline. And if you're moving around, it's like the other team it was like we were playing. It's almost like we were playing turtles. Those guys were trying to hurry up and get to the ground as fast as they could. They did not want to get hit. It was absolutely brutal. Every time you hit somebody and the ground was like a brick, it's like you was playing in the goddamn parking lot. Literally playing in the parking lot, tackling people in the parking lot. That's what it felt like. And I tried to be that guy and go out there without sleeves on. And I did that for the first half. And luckily, it was an away game, and I luckily brought a long sleeve shirt to go along with it because, you know, I'm not worried about my arms getting cold. You know, your arms ain't gonna, that's nothing. You know what I mean? When your toes start freezing up and your fingertips start freezing up, that's a whole different ball game. I'm talking about when you got to go to the ground, when you take somebody to the ground and that elbow rakes up against that hard ass ground, your forearm rakes up against that hard ass ground. That shit hurts. I don't want anybody that hasn't experienced this to think looking at this shit on TV like it's cold. Everybody's cold. You know, they all have to play in the, that shit hurts when you hit people and when you go to the ground. I seen like 3 people basically pull their shoulder out of place during that game, going down to the ground a little bit too hard because there's no give to it. It's like you're hitting
It's like concrete.
yeah,
Yep.
so it's not, watching a game in bad weather like that and actually playing in it is 2 different things. 2 completely different things. I wouldn't want to watch a game in that weather. I need blood pumping. I need my adrenaline to even survive that. Fuck watching that. Hell no, I don't want to come to a game like that. But God bless you, guys, for being that kind of spirit.
I'm just thinking about the idea of paying to go freeze your extremities off. So I had to find a normal word to use. To freeze your stuff off in the stadium. Go pay a whole bunch of money for seats to freeze.
I did that the Eagles game. It was versus Donovan McNabb in Chicago, man. And I got tickets, and so my dad used to travel for work, and whenever he passed through Chicago, he'd fly me out there because my grandpa on my mom's side was the Bears fan that made me into a Bears fan. So he flew me out there. So, I would go to the games. My dad's actually not a huge Bears fan, but I've got a good story about that. But yeah, man, that was the dopest game. It was a Sunday night football game, and the stadium just was it was my bad. The stadium was rocking all night long, and it was
Nomad at night, brother. Say what you got to say.
Oh man, it was so much fun. I was at the top of the row, like nosebleed sections, and they've got this. Well, back in the day before they remodeled, they had this whole metal section, and we're banging on the metal, just being as loud as possible. All my friends back at home were watching the game, and we ended up winning the game in the 4th quarter. I forget how we did it, but we ended up beating Donovan McNabb. It was a great win, but it was freezing, and I just loved every minute of it.
What did you do?
I'm not trying to take.
Hold on, kid. What did you do for spirits?
What did I do for spirits?
Did you have anything?
I think I bought 2 Guinnesses at the pub in the stadium. That was probably about it.
Tell the truth. That helped out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What'd you have before you came to the stadium?
I don't think I had anything. I was younger then. I think I was in my early 20s. So, and I was riding solo too. So,
sure.
But yeah,
throw that back up for Charles Johnson. Here, I got it.
I got it. Ooh.
So, okay. So, Charles, I live like 2 hours away from Fort Drum, dog. That's my weather, right? Like I live that weather. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to pay big. I'll watch a game on TV if it's snowing like that. If it's freezing cold, I'll watch it on TV for free. I'm selling my tickets. Everybody else can go. That's me. If it's that cold, trust me. I'm a Canadian. I'm a Canuck. The level of cold that I experience on a regular basis is actually very similar to what you guys get when the cold is coming off the lake on like a daily basis throughout winter. Winter is crazy over here. Where I'm at, my part of Ontario and Siberia in Russia are the 2 places in the world where the temperature goes from 40 plus Celsius to 40 below Celsius.
40 minus. Yep.
And that's Celsius. Right. That's not Fahrenheit.
Celsius.
So that's
not Fahrenheit. I have to throw that. I have to just do the conversion if you want to do the conversion. Or don't do the conversion because I don't know the difference. But all I'm telling you, it's wicked cold in winter out here. It's cold like sin. It's cold. So I can't find. I'm trying to find the advantage of cold. At this point, I've experienced my fair share of cold. I'd love to not have to experience it in the stadium. That's all. It's cold like sin out here. See, yeah, Adam spent some time out in Canada too, man. Canada, Edmonton gets wicked cold.
Really quick for kids and everybody on the panel tonight, and everybody in the chat, Mo Fugler has called for a community shot. And somebody shouted out your shirt too. Mo Fugler has called for a community shot. So on 3, let's go ahead and get it. Let's get this shit popping, man. On 3, let's
everybody keep giving Don Burr the business.
Yeah. On count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's tip. Boom. We got to do a graphic for that. I like that. That's perfect for Nomad at night, man.
There's up, Bears fans.
But yeah, man. So when I think of Chicago Bears football, man, I think of the bullies over the years, Naj, the bullies we've had around here. And
oh yeah,
I know football, and I'm no idiot to the fact that football rules have changed, and they can't number 50 that's on his shirt. You can't act like number 50 anymore. You can't hit like number 50 anymore. You can't go for the knockout.
Oh.
You can't go for the knockout blow that Otis Wilson did on the quarter. Not Otis Wilson, but it was that Wilbur Marshall did on the quarterback. You can't go for those blows anymore, you know? But you have to play a physical brand of football. And I believe that that's who we are. That's exactly who we are. We're a physical football team that has to knock dudes around. And if we want to get to the next level, which we are headed, I think that's how we have to play football.
Adam, just give me the business.
Imagine me trying to talk to you all that shit.
Oh,
but that's what it's got to be, man. I think the more, the fans want a different brand of football. They want what we keep hearing, kids, is a more modern brand of football where, you have a quarterback that's throwing it all over the yard, a more exciting brand of football, a lot of passes, a lot of receptions, that brand of football, because, fans get more excited when they see stuff like that. I think that's true in most places. And it can be true here. But I think the core Chicago Bears football fans want to see teams get knocked the fuck out when they come inside the stadium. Am I right?
You see that score that Dooku off the dub this type? Bears 42, Lions nothing. I like that. That's what we need here.
What say you to that? Yeah.
Man, look, I don't. I actually say different things, man. I've experienced the Smash Mouth football case scenario. I think I want to see a different identity, and I'm not saying that Smash Mouth has to go. Smash Mouth has to exist, but I want to see the hybrid now. I want to see Smash Mouth and West Coast. Is that too much to ask for? Is that crazy? Is it crazy that I'm asking for it? Because I know that's what they're asking for. Like, that's what they're trying to build.
We're going to get a certain level of that, kids. I think we're going to get that hybrid. I think, and what's funny about it is because Chicago hasn't seen it. Chicago hasn't really seen it. The closest we've got to it is a couple of high-flying Justin Fields games, a couple of Mitch Trubisky games. Other than that, we haven't seen those types of teams where we just threw the ball all over the yard and all these explosive plays happen. That's been absent from Chicago Bears football culture. And so what I'm trying to get at tonight is, are we so enamored in, what the past was and what that culture was, so the future be damned? Are we so wrapped up into that and steeped into that history and that culture that we don't want to see, a hybrid come about and, Chicago change into something different? That's where the conversation is headed.
Well, I think
go ahead, J2K, man. Go.
I think that we actually did make a recent shift to go a little bit back old school. We had Roquan Smith, who was someone who was more of, athletic, quick to the ball, but wasn't the thumper, right? And we basically switched him out for Tremaine Edmonds. who is a huge middle linebacker who can handle an offensive guard at the line. So I think there's still a little bit of that element within Chicago. Maybe not as much as the history. But when you talk about history, it's really about linebackers. It's middle linebackers.
I think it's deeper than that, man. We had the homie Doug Blank on this show at one point, and I think the history on the secondary is pretty deep too. Charles Tillman doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. I think he should be.
I agree.
I'm just saying, I think he should be. You have a move named after you in the sport,
right?
Like you should be in consideration for the Hall of Fame. There's other guys. I'm just gonna leave it there though. But
he never got his fair due when he played. As good as he was when he played, people were still trying to move him to safety. Right? Remember fans saying, "Oh, move him to safety." It's totally idiotic. But anyway,
Thanks for pushing me back because I don't want to get stuck on
right. But nowadays, like you look at him as being this all-star that we had. And he should be a Hall of Famer. He was incredible. He wasn't a speedster. He was a guy who was hard-nosed. He would make the tackle. He would create the fumble. He'd punch the ball out. He was a team captain. He was a great person. Everything Chicago-style football meant to Chicago was Charles Tillman.
The whole thing about putting him at safety, though, J2K, is he'd probably make twice as many tackles and then obviously get more fumbles, too. So I could see that whole point. But he was effective no matter where he played.
Yeah, I think people made that analogy because he wasn't fast enough after the Steve Smith game against Carolina in the playoffs.
Right.
That he did get burned, but a large part of that I felt was actually the safety tandem at the time weren't covering over top enough. But I digress. I love Charles Tillman. I think that's the epitome of Chicago style football.
You know what, J2K? I think sometimes especially when it comes to cornerback play, I know this from conversations with coaches. It's almost like a give and take in a situation. When it comes to it's like almost like a practice player is really good, covering people in practice, and when the game comes on, he's covering people decent in the game. But when it comes to the physical part of it, coming up and filling up holes and getting your solo tackles and hitting people, some guys come up short in that region. Peanut was one of those guys who fit exactly into what Lovey wanted. And most of the game, let's just say 65-70% of the game is going to get played in a 15 to 20 yard radius, 0 to 15, 20 yard radius. And you got to knock the shit out of people. And that's just flat out the truth. My experience playing this game is most of it happens in a small confined area. Those explosive plays happen when teams and coaches see opportunities and they take shots. But most of that game is played within a 15 or 20 yard radius, maybe 25 if you want to expand it out to this league right now. It's really not complicated. It's really not complicated, and you need a certain level of physicality from the players that play at each position that you have, whether it's the corner, the slot corner, whether it's whoever is playing out there on that defense. You need that guy to be physical, whoever he is. When his number is called and you're in that hole to make that tackle, you need to be physical. And Charles Tillman fit that bill. What I want to ask you guys is, who do you see? Like, I have a name, and he is absolutely on this thumbnail as the cover story. I have a person who I see as the epitome of who we want to be to set that kind of tone. That 0 to 20, 25 yard radius to be absolutely dominant and dominate your space. I see TJ Edwards as the guy that sets that tone.
Like,
absolutely.
I have to applaud it because I was like, who is that guy? And bing, that's that guy, man. 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, TJ Edwards. Man, I'm so glad they got him. Like, I'm so glad they brought him onto this team because he filled that Roquan Smith void. And then you look at Tremaine, and Tremaine is just the prototypical middle, right? He's got the length, he's getting in passing lanes, he's rushing. Hey, but Edwards is lightning in a bottle on the tackle, smart, knows where he needs to be, instinctual. Bro, that kid is smash mouth. You're right. If we're talking about linebackers, and I think the league's going to figure that part out this year as well. I think the league's going to figure that part out. They should have figured it out last year because his numbers were very close to Roquan. Linebacker to linebacker, tackle versus tackle, not that far off.
And I just don't think he gets enough love, J2K. That's why
he
we
doesn't.
Man, he is what Chicago is, man. He represents who we are. Thank you, Tyrone Miller. Lance Briggs 2.0. That's what the fuck
I was just going to say Lance Briggs. Number 55. Reminds me a lot of Lance Briggs.
Yeah, Lance Briggs coming out of college, he wasn't, quote, fast enough. And TJ Edwards, he was undrafted. And you're talking about a lunch pail guy who, you know, works his butt off.
From Chicago, J2K, from here.
Yeah, and from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, a true Chicagoan. Absolutely. But a guy who had no chance, given the percentages of making an NFL team's roster, making it to this point, getting a second contract, and he's outplaying his physical talent. And I wanted to bring this up because Nomad, when we were talking previously, I brought this up about Walter Payton, and he said, I do this for the Wakarskis of the NFL, the guys who they don't have the talent, but they put in the work. And TJ Edwards, he puts in the work. He does the film study. His first step is the right step. He may not be the fastest. He may not be the biggest. He may not be the longest. And similar to Lance Briggs, Briggs was very much the same way. But they played a certain type of football that is an epitome of Chicago football, where it doesn't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and where you can put yourself.
Hey, Naj, before you go, I got to say this because Adam is putting up exactly where I was going next. TJ is one of the best. This is per Adam Mason. TJ is one of the best in the whole league. Sanborn is completely underrated. Edmonds will have a bounce back year. His coverage was bad, but he will injury for a bit. Before you go, I gotta say this, and I'm gonna challenge everybody as Bears content creators. Man, we get so enamored with those those bulletin board names. You talking about Caleb all off season. You're talking about Rome all off season. We're talking about all these names that are marquee material. But I'm telling you, the epitome of Chicago Bears football is TJ Edwards. He is absolutely one of the best in the league. I knew that
absolutely
watching him when we signed him. And he was one of those guys in that market, like, oh God, I hope we pick this dude up. He plays so well in space. I mean, and then he closes like a fucking freight train. TJ Edwards is probably right now my favorite football player on this team.
That means underpaid.
Yeah, he goes sidelines to sidelines like nobody's business. He just covers the field.
Man, TJ doesn't get the love. If you look back on one of our shows, you will see a show. Just go back in the history of the show. You'll see that I made it my business. I had to fight my guy Chris, R.I.P., to get this thumbnail. But and then we did a whole show, and the whole theme was, "Where's the love? Where is the love for TJ Edwards, man?" And he was on the cover of that. But TJ Edwards is absolutely the epitome of who we are as a Chicago Bears team. I'm telling you, if you want to see who the Chicago Bears are, what is Chicago style football, watch number fucking 53. He shows you every time he goes out there who we are. He understands it on a different level because he's grown up in it and is steeped in it. And that was a hell of an idea by Ryan Poles to make sure that he brought Chicago Bears steep players into the fold. He made sure he brought in guys that were steeped in the tradition. So they know what they're doing. They know they're looking for certain types of players, that can keep that mystique going. And TJ Edwards, if you ever come on this show, I'll come off camera just to do the interview with him. I love TJ Edwards, man. And so I'm lying. I'm not coming off camera, but TJ, come on the show. We'll have a good one. I don't know. J2K must have ran into some kind of internet problem, but man, I don't think that guy gets the love and appreciation that he deserves.
He does not. He's one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. Like honest to goodness, one of the most underrated. And let me also say that like Roquan Smith before him was very underrated. He moves to the Ravens. Oh, big contract, super highly rated, touted linebacker. So don't be surprised. I actually think this entire defense is underrated. I also think that the offense is heavily underrated because of its previous and prior performance.
Going back to what I said before, Chicago's a bad weather town, and I think all three of our linebackers are good bad weather linebackers. You know, I like Roquan, but he's a Georgia guy.
Georgia boy. At least
like
we got a guy from Buffalo,
now.
Right? Buffalo and Philly, not so bad. It's cold in both of those places.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So I intentionally led this conversation to this point because, like Mo Fargo said, he cannot love this TJ topic enough. That guy should have been. If you look at the Bears highlights for the entire season last year, especially on the defense, you'll find him in a great majority of the plays that were made. Some way, shape, or form, TJ Edwards was a huge, when I say huge impact on this team. And because he was undrafted, I don't think people give him the respect that he deserves. And
absolutely.
so J2K fell out, but my God, man, TJ Edwards is the fucking bomb.com. I mean, he is carrying that fucking torch, man. And I love that dude's football play. I admire him. I can't wait. One of these days we'll get him on here and I'll be able to give him his flowers. But
did you see how I juke from back and forth? I like how I did that.
Man. Go ahead, J2K. Did you want to jump in on that?
Oh, sorry guys. I actually missed out on that conversation.
Is he back?
My internet dropped out. So I just jumped back in. But I'm pretty sure actually Coach T coached Tremaine Edwards. Or TJ Edwards.
Tremaine?
I'm sorry. No, I mean
TJ Edwards.
Yeah, TJ Edwards. Yeah. I think he did actually. Yeah.
You think he what?
I think he coached him. But he's not one to go on podcasts, so he's not exactly hopping on, but you never know, man. You never know.
Good link. That's a good link.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got to get him on here, man. TJ.
Write that down. Take a note.
So he's easily one of my favorite Bears, and he just plays with his hair on fire. He's everywhere. Sanborn does a great job backing him up. You know what I mean? Like he also does. Shout out to the Sandman there. Give him a little bit of love too. So that linebacker core is crazy. Right down to Noah Sewell. Shout out to Noah Sewell too. Right? This is what I'm saying. This back seven is ridiculous, and I'm gonna push the conversation over to the two of the new guys. I think Kevin Byard is a great addition to that back seven. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I think he's a perfect addition to that back seven.
Dude, you don't remember the safety show, kids? Do you remember the safety big board that we did? Remember everybody got mad at me. I think Samuel, I think even Chris. Samuel.
There's no way Samuel was mad. Samuel was trying to get rid of Eddie.
A while ago. Oh man, I busted Samuel's chops on that one, and he totally was right, man, 100%.
He was trying to get rid of Eddie last season. Trust me.
Hey, you know what? They were mad at me because everybody thought that Kevin Byard was going to cost. I think it was like $19 million.
Oh, what?
$19 million.
That's crazy money.
That's what the market was at the very.
We get him for like 6.5 or something.
No safety's worth that much money.
They got him.
I don't think.
I don't know, man. There's some good
Well,
safeties.
he was the
out there.
top-rated safety.
I
When we got
know,
our,
but are
you're
they
right.
really worth that much money though? I mean, it's not a I don't know.
Premium position. I
It
agree,
is what it
Naj.
is.
You know, I did have
Whoa.
questions when we spent our first 2 draft picks of Ryan Poles' era on a nickel corner and a strong safety, and I was like, really, really?
Now you see the picture, though.
But I love both players, so I'm not going to complain. You know.
Now you see the big picture. I knew it was a good idea, and it you know what J2K, you saying that now in hindsight, and us having this conversation that we're having tonight, what was the intention of this organization coming in when they got their first crack at the draft?
Well,
Was to rebuild the Bears' mystique. In that probably what they're thinking.
But I still question, what are our 2 main issues? Defensive end and offensive line. And isn't that, I don't want to take this to a whole nother realm, but isn't that where you build inside out?
JTK. What the hell? What the hell, JTK?
Well, there's a couple ways to look at that now. And you can look at that 2 ways. Okay, so you got to imagine what's on somebody's board as far as their value at the time when you're drafting. They knew they wanted to go defense. They probably had a litany of guys on there and who had the most value at that time. And it probably just ended up being a slot corner who could play outside corner and inside. They thought his value was higher. And so from that standpoint, I understood the pick 100%.
You know,
100%.
I think that it actually came down to a dominant defensive end is only found in a top 10 draft pick, or you trade a high second round pick for one. So I think what they were doing is, instead of targeting offensive line and defensive line, they were taking kind of best player available instead of reaching at building out of the trenches. But I still have questions, and I'll always go back to this. Abraham Lucas, a right tackle for Seattle, was available when we took Velus Jones.
And
I just, you know, I don't want to bring this back to a Velus Jones conversation, but still, that was just like, why?
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, J2K, because like I say, I had problems with that specific pick too. I have to be completely frank about it, and that's why I'm a little bit critical of Velus Jones. So we'll see how he does this season. I'm excited. I've been hearing great things about him, so hopefully that continues on. But he's not my focus this year. There's so much other things. I want to get back to Kevin Byard. See how I segued that? See that?
Nice job.
Segued it right back to Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard is going to bring the hits. He's kind of the opposite. He's like the anti-Eddie Jackson. He can do what Eddie Jackson does, but he will also wrap up and smoke fools. So I'm really excited to see him play. I'm also excited to see Jonathan Owens play too, man. Like I remember mentioning it before.
Jonathan Owens, right?
Yeah, Jonathan Owens. I'm excited to see him. He's kind of a heat-seeking missile back there. Sometimes his missile hits quarterbacks a bit late. We'll put that out there. But I'd rather be on the, not be on the receiving end of that. I'm glad that's on our side. I'm happy to see both those guys as a part of that secondary. And that being said, I think that secondary is just disgusting. I don't know what PFF is looking at out there.
And especially having Brisker now playing free and less in the box, less injuries, and I think he can play free, man. They can
both play a little free, right? Like both of them.
Yes. Well, it's just you're not going to cue the offensive coordinator to the quarterback. You're not going to tell him what you're doing. Which one is it? Like the last 2 seasons, Brisker's in the box, Jackson's up top. Cover 1, cover 2. Center field open, center field closed. It's just so easy to read. And we were that good of a defense having that easy read, right?
J2K, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial, but I want people to keep an eye on it. I'm talking when I say range, let me explain what I'm talking about. That's getting from 0 to 10, getting from one quarter to the other quarter of the field, getting from one half of the field to the other half of the field, and closing on the ball while it's in the air. That's typically what coaches mean by range. I'm going to look at the film a little bit more and compare what I see on film as far as range goes with Jaquan Brisker and Jonathan Owens. As of right now, I think Jonathan Owens might have a better close and foot speed than even Jaquan Brisker. And Jaquan Brisker is what I think epitomizes Chicago Bear football. I just want to say that ahead of time, and he is the starter out there, but they definitely brought him competition in here to push him and make him a better professional. Really he didn't have any competition as per, up until they brought Jonathan Owens in, and a couple other guys that they brought in too to push Jonathan Owens. So I'm telling you guys right now, a position to watch in camp is that strong safety position, and the difference between a Jaquan Brisker and a Jonathan Owens. But I'm telling you, from going from A to B in an amount of speed, getting to the ball while it's in the air, or getting to the ball carrier in the right time, I'm telling you, that's something that you should pay attention to if you look at film. And it's a good measure. It's a good measurement of what you think Jaquan Brisker versus Jonathan Owens can be moving forward for us. Look at that particular, what I just described: range, close on the ball, speed. Does he complete the tackle? Does he get the ball out? Any of that kind of thing, you have to look at that, because that's exactly what coaches are looking at. They brought Jaquan Brisker competition. They want to push that young man, and he's going to have to step it up, because I think Jonathan Owens is pretty good. Why he didn't end up being the full-time starter in Green Bay is because they've drafted well in the secondary. And so he had to play some stiff competition. That's just the ball-headed truth. So that's just something I wanted people to pay attention to come this training camp. Watch that closely.
I think Jonathan Owens is an undrafted free agent as well. Is that not correct?
That might be true.
I think you're correct, but don't quote
He's a UDFA too. And I'm just saying, I love work ethic of guys like that. I wouldn't really consider him that kind of, like, Jaquan Brisker's homegrown talent, right? I don't consider those guys competition, but I definitely consider them, like, that's a solid backup to have in a situation. Brisker does put the hits on, and I kind of wanted to touch on this by Mofugro. Mofugro, you've been on point all night, and I'm going to pick on you now. I disagree. I think these guys put the hits on. I think Brisker puts the hits on. He went out a couple of times this season for doing it. You know who else puts the hits on in that secondary? Our guy, Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson puts hits on. He's physical. He is, right? Like, now you bring in a Byard and you bring in a Jonathan Owens, and we've got a little bit more physicality. I'm not trying to say that Jalen Johnson doesn't know how to tackle either. He definitely does. But is he the most physical guy out there? Not necessarily. Same token, I ain't taking anything away from his game. He's doing his job on the number one wide receiver every Sunday. Like, no questions there. The rest of those guys, they'll put you down. And that's why I like the Byard acquisition. That's why I like the Jonathan Owens acquisition. Those two guys hit. Can't wait to see it. I'm hyped to see it, y'all.
Same with Terrell Smith. Add his name to it. Dude, that guy's got shoulders and a chest, man.
No question.
Terrell Smith is jacked.
Who? Yeah, and like, there's talk about moving him to safety just so he sees the field more often. But again, with these two new acquisitions, I don't know.
Yeah, and Byard is crafty. He is very smart, instinctual player. He knows where to be. He's one of those signings that I think they watch the Eagles secondary fall apart with two defensive coordinators and no linebackers. And now they're like, oh, look at Chicago. They got themselves, on a pile of hope. But no, man, Byard's going to be dope, you guys. Straight up dope.
Even in that Eagles secondary that suffered greatly, with Fangio and all of our former secondary guys over there. You know, they didn't do very well. Look at his stats. My guy put people on the ground. That's all I'm telling you. And what have we been complaining about with Eddie Jackson for the past couple of years? Eddie doesn't wrap up. Eddie's not like a tackler. This guy is. So I can't wait to see him as a part of this secondary. It's going to be awesome.
I'm with you, kids.
Real quick,
Wow.
let me throw 2 cents in because I see Bear Ski film in here for the first time. I just wanted you to know from myself and this network, man, I really appreciate your work. I really, really appreciate your work. And I think I can speak for everybody here that watches YouTube videos on the Chicago Bears. That guy does some really good stuff, and it's very entertaining, and it's needed, especially in this time of the year, because people are always looking for the content, reason to get hype, man. Dude, you do a very good job, and I appreciate your stuff. I'd like to actually reach out to you about some stuff, but that's up to you. But I definitely want to take my hat off to you and say thank you for being a great content creator for the community, man. It's good stuff, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Shout out Basically Film. I definitely watch your stuff. Your content is hype, I have to admit. And hey, man, bear down across the board, everybody. We're almost there. We're almost there. It's almost a season, and I can't wait to see what these backs. I'm kind of happy. They have to post a number 19 on the door, on the secondary room door. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want them to do. I want them to paste the number 19 there, so they walk in every time they go to the door. They're okay. Yeah, I remember.
But yes, I mean that is some good stuff, man. You know, we always. I keep telling people all the time. You know, these Bears content creators. I think we don't appreciate each other enough. And as Bears, even if you don't create content, the people that are, you know, engaging in the content and viewing the content, I gotta press you guys to make sure you're showing enough support to everybody that does this stuff, especially if you think the content is dope. There's a lot of content out there that you just watch because it's Bears content, but the content that you think is dope and you think that, you know, some really organic, some really good stuff, and you really like how the vibe, you should make sure you support that channel. Make sure you support them.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's what I would just encourage, you know, people to be. I'm not just talking about for us, I'm talking about for everybody. Bear Ski, Adam Mason, whoever you think makes really good content, make sure you give them every bit of the support that you can give them, because it's not easy, especially when you do live podcasts and you have to do, you know, expected podcasts, you know, scheduled podcasts. It's not always the easiest thing to do, to come up with a creative idea of where to take a conversation like the one we're having tonight. You know, it's not always the easiest thing to do. It comes naturally to me, but I imagine the next Bears content creator has to probably work a little bit to come up with an idea for that. So support them the best you can. And again, shout out to Adam Mason and Bear Ski, man. Good shit, man. I really appreciate what you do, Bear Ski, and I will reach out to you as soon as I can. But that being said, man, listen, let's you know, we don't need to go around the horn a little bit. You guys want to talk a little bit more? We got some people in the chat, man, that's busy, and
they're fired up, man. Let's give them what they came here for.
So I don't want to wrap the show just yet. Let's have some general conversation. How about we just talk to the people in the chat? Did you see anything in particular, Naj, that you want to point out, a particular comment or something someone said in there that really turned on a bulb for you tonight?
You know, the one thing that resonates still in my head, and I wanted to bring this up earlier, is I'm really looking forward to what Eric Washington brings to this defense from a coaching perspective. And I'm really looking forward to what he comes up with and really makes our linebacking core that much better, because he used to coach Edmonds. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Jermaine evolves this season. And that's all I wanted to bring up today.
Run that by me one more time. Say that one more time, Naj.
Well, Eric Washington used to coach the Buffalo Bills and defense, so he knows Tremaine Edmonds real well. They used to, coach him up in Buffalo. So I'm looking forward to what he has in his bag of tricks to get the defense adjusted, accordingly, just so that he thrives like he did when he played in Buffalo.
You were about to respond there, kids. Go ahead.
Oh, you kind of threw me off. I thought you were going, brother. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted to understand what he was saying.
No, I understand what he's saying. So he coached Tremaine Edmonds. He's a D-line coach, but he basically, created the lanes for Edmonds for years. Right? Since he was a rookie. And we're getting Edmonds at this really pinnacle time because he was so young coming out of the draft, right? And we're getting him now where he's still young. He's like, I think he's younger than Velus Jones, which is wild, right? But he's still young enough that he's got all the talent and ability, but there's still this upside in his length and his size. And I think Eric Washington, I do think he's going to focus a little more on the D-line. But Flus hired him for a reason. That was to be DC eventually. It may happen this season. So I do totally agree with Nodge that what he's capable of doing with Tremaine, knowing him, and how he can create the rush lanes for Edmonds and the D-line is going to be key this season. I actually would throw one caveat to that whole discussion. It's Austin Booker.
Ooh.
Loved what they saw in Austin Booker, and there's a reason why we haven't signed Yannick Ngakoue.
I like that, man.
I'll pass it over to you, kids.
Man, don't do stuff like that, J2K, man. Like I hope so too. I like the guy I really hope for out of them all is our guy, Big Dex, right? Like I think Dexter, man, if either one of those guys shows up, like that's it. One of those two guys just needs to show up this season, and we're set. We're set, y'all. One of them two guys, either one. Heck, I'll take it if Billing shows up and just just decides to transform his have a transformative season. Any one of them guys. Jeez. Somebody got to turn up on that line. Like somebody got to do it.
Oh, I think it's Booker. I think we hit gold with Booker, you guys. It's pure gut instinct, call it what you will. But I think we hit on Booker, man. I really do.
I'm looking forward to Jacob Martin myself too.
Hey, Jacob Martin's no slouch, Nodge.
Hell no, he ain't. Hell no. I think I was watching something, man. I think it was a PFF podcast, and they were really, really, really down on the Bears defensive line, and us being Bears fans, I just want to put this in perspective, and it's good to go outside of the Bears fan base to kind of get an idea of what other people think about what we have. Like Don, we have Don in here every week to show us what the hell we might or might not be missing, or to kick us in the nuts, whatever the hell Don comes in here to do. But it was interesting on that podcast. They were talking about our defensive line, and they were like, and they brought up how many sacks we got, how many pressures we got versus your average team in the NFL. And the truth is, they basically called us the Jackson 5. We got Michael, and everybody else is a Tito, and Michael is goddamn fucking Montez Sweat.
Hey, what about Jermaine? Jermaine was out of the 5, but he was real good too.
I'm just saying that's what teams are saying about us. That's what people who view the Bears organization are saying about us from the outside. We got Michael, and we got a bunch of fucking Titos. That's what they're saying about us. I'm just saying.
Winning cures everything. That's the way we'll see what the season holds, but we keep putting up those dubs. That's all that matters.
Let me give a quick shout out to Plank. Get those likes up, man. Show your support. Bear down. I don't know how many likes we got, but I know it's never enough. compared to
That's
the
true.
people that we have in this chat. Please stop for a second and hit the like button if you do nothing else. Please, and thank you so much, Plank. But go ahead. That's what teams think about us. They think we're a bunch of they think we have Michael Jackson, and basically they don't even I seen that show and I was pissed off about it because they said that Montez Sweat was the third best player on that defense.
What?
In Washington. Yes, I seen that.
Oh, on Washington.
I think it was a
okay.
PFF podcast. I think it was a PFF broadcast. And they said that in Washington, he was the third best player on that team. I mean, on that defense. What do you guys think about that?
I think they're wrong. That's about that simple. I think they're wrong. If Chase Young is in that list, I think we definitely, for all intents and purposes, got the right edge rusher out of the two. I don't think anybody here could argue with that statement, right? I don't think anybody in the chat will argue with that statement too. Y'all want Chase Young instead of Montez Sweat? Give me a Y or an N in the chat, please, because I think we got the right guy. He's much better now. Who's Payne is on the inside. Payne's real good, so maybe he's not as good as Payne.
Well, Payne and Jonathan Allen are the only other two guys. But I mean, come on, you're splitting hairs.
I'm gonna be clear what they were saying.
It's a good line, man.
Well, yeah, but you're splitting hairs. Sweat versus Allen versus Payne. I mean, that's splitting some hairs, man.
Let me tell you specifically what was said now.
All right, now.
It was let me see. Let me make sure I'm right. I think it was not Jonathan Allen, but Payne. I think it was Chase Young, a healthy Chase Young, and Montez Sweat was third. That's what I heard. I'll just let you guys respond to that.
It couldn't have been Chase Young because Chase Young hasn't been good since his rookie season.
It was absolutely Chase Young.
Oh, well, then PFF is doing PFF things.
Yeah.
I'll keep it PG, y'all.
I remember the Bears Commanders game 2 years ago, and Montez Sweat in that game, nobody could block him on the Bears. I mean, he was wreaking havoc. He was busting every play, and we were lucky to even score any points on offense that game. That's how big a force he was. And when I saw that we were trading and getting him, I was so pumped up that we got him because I'll still remember that game from 2 years ago. He was just a beast.
And shout out to Samo for calling that. So many people would call him for Chase Young. Samo was like, Sweat's the guy, man.
Man.
Yep, Samo nailed that one. No two ways about that. Yo, shout out Sam Rush.
You know, my only problem with Samo at that time when he was talking about that, I was just like, Samo, let it go because they are not going to trade Montez Sweat. He's the healthy one. And if they need to go into a rebuild,
right?
Why in the fuck would they trade Montez Sweat? He's a building.
You want to know?
The thing is
that. What's funny about that is Ryan Poles thought the exact same thing, right? Ryan Poles went for Chase Young. He went for Chase Young. They negotiated about Chase Young, just didn't work out, and they turned around and said, "Hey, well, what about Montez? Oh, we didn't realize he was on the market. Okay, go for it, Notch."
I got a real close friend at work, and he's a Commanders fan, and when that trade went off, he just told me, he said, "Hey, Naj, they've got really good depth on that position, and they're very young, and they just need to get some more playing time for the younger defensive ends." So that's really the reason why they traded him more than anything. But hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, I always say.
Oh, he was a better player versus him and Chase Young. Absolutely, man.
Man,
it was like AC Adams says it was a close call. You're right, AC Adam, man. It's a situation where it could have gone the other way. And again, you're definitely dealing with a guy who has known injury history, right? As opposed to Montez. So well done. Again, God bless the chef.
No way.
that's my new quote.
In hell.
God bless the chef.
There's no way in hell with a competent organization being Washington, they trade Montez Sweat, knowing that they need to go in rebuild mode and build this team back out and get the pieces. We have no business with Montez Sweat. They should have kept him.
Well, so part of the story is
Cap issues.
is that Chase didn't pass the physical for the Bears. The Bears
Yes.
wasn't physical.
Exactly. And he
Right, so
actually
that's part
he
of
had
the
a surgery
conversation.
this year on his new team because he didn't have it last year with the 49ers after the trade.
That's it.
Damaged goods, man.
That was it. So they were like, okay, well, we tried. He's not going to pass the physical. Well, what about Montez? Okay. How about a second?
And we stole Montez from Atlanta, who then got pissed at us and took our 7th-round draft pick, Travis Bell, off our roster. I mean,
I remember that.
Yeah,
that
what
was
a-
in sequence, wasn't it?
what a sneaky move from Atlanta. Oh, man, you feel bad
Let's
for
kick him in the
yourself.
dick.
You all
Let's kick him right
mad.
in the dick for that.
Ryan Pace.
Ryan Pace all mad.
They sure enough that happened right in sequence. We got Montez Sweat off and beat them out, and they went right to our practice squad and stole Travis Bell from us. That is absolutely true, man. Son of a. That was sure enough true.
God bless the chef, y'all. God bless the chef, because he's cooking it up, man. He cooked up some crazy stuff for this season. I can't wait to eat.
So hey, kids, you know what we have going on, and Plank just put it out there. Ryan never not working polls. We've had some, and I've been saying this for some time. I think that we've gotten some things to get into alignment for us in order for us to have this fortune that we're having right now. We ended up with Montez Sweat. We ended up with the number 1 pick. You know, we ended up with a lot of things going our way that might necessarily not have gone our way if it wasn't for some good fortune, some good vibes. We've got some shit cooking. And on top of that, we brought in some pretty good fucking coaches, position coaches, coordinators, all of this stuff. And we've got the right shit in the pot. And it's about what's about to get cooked at this training camp. How are they going to, like Eric Washington, I keep telling you guys, everybody's going to be talking about the offense and what it looks like, Caleb Williams, Romo Dunze, what they look like, and the pieces that we just added, all this stuff. There's so many storylines that's going to happen during this training camp. But I'm telling you, what is going to stabilize us is going to be the defense. Bringing in Eric Washington to really, really give that defensive line a boost. Knowing that we have a great secondary, and we added some pieces to that, some pieces that nobody's talking about, like that Jonathan Owens, pieces that we've added to the secondary for depth. They have prepared this team for the opportunity that a lot of people don't want to give us the chance to get, and that's a playoff run. And this defense, if there's going to be anything that gets us there, it's going to be them stabilizing us at the very beginning of the schedule while this kid Caleb Williams is coming along, stabilizing us so that he gets ingrained with what he needs to do, and he's going to give us every opportunity once he settles down and knows what NFL football is, gets the timing down. It's just different from what he's used to in college. Once that happens, if this defense is stable enough and they put the right pieces in place, like there's one little story from Chat Sports that says, Linval Joseph, if you don't know who Linval Joseph is, he's a defensive tackle that can back up what's our big guy, Billings. That's a cog in the engine that we could use right now. He's 35, and a 1-year contract is perfect for him. And he's still out there. We get pieces like that, maybe go and grab another defensive end just for camp, just to see what we can do with him. And I think we can cook like a motherfucker. Some of the pieces that Ryan Poles has gotten this offseason doesn't get enough conversation. I wanted to create entire shows about it. Some of these pieces that we attained during the offseason, but, most of the Bears fans don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about Caleb Williams, Romo Dunze, and all the stuff that hits the headlines every day. But I'm telling you, the underappreciated stuff that happened this off, some of those, off name brand signings that Ryan Poles did. He grabbed some dudes. And I want people to know that. Jacob Martin being one of them, that defensive end. So, I want to round this conversation off there and pass it to kids and say, man, I am so fucking excited about this season because it's a lot of guys that we're not talking about on a day-to-day basis that are going to pop off the fucking radar for you guys come this training camp up real soon.
Can't wait to see it. I have no clue. That makes me stop and think about the offensive line as well. Like, I'm real interested in what's going on over there. I don't know, a lot of new faces. I want to see Karan whenever Karan gets his opportunity to step up and start doing some stuff, because I think he's got a shot. I'm gonna be real about that. I think he has an opportunity given the the draft capital investment into him. I think he has an opportunity to play. All he has to do is go and show up. And that's what training camp is all about, y'all. Go out there, get better, show out, iron versus iron, iron sharpens iron. It should be an awesome situation, and I can't wait for it to pop off because there's a lot of underrated guys out there. Like, there's some, my guy Theo Benedict's out there, and I think both of those, Don Burr, you're out in the chat. You're in the chat talking trash as per normal. Your guy, your new right tackle, I believe. He's from BC. 6'8". He's a monster. He's going to be a little bit of a problem. I'll just put that out there. It's all the more reason why we need another edge rusher. I'll just put it out there. But his partner from BC is a guy that we picked up again as an undrafted free agent. And I think he's amazing. I think he'll slot in very naturally as a guard. He plays a little bit upright now, not a very low pad level for him, but again, he's 6'7". This kid's a monster, and he doesn't have the lower end that you would want. Nomad doesn't have the lower end, but I think that works in the guard position a little bit better than it does in the tackle position. So I think
who we talking about? I'm
talking Theo Benedict. He's good, bro.
I have a problem with his lawyer, man.
Yeah, you should. He's slim. He's kind of slender, but he's strong. So my problem is, again, less with the lower end. It's more that because he doesn't have that lower end, you want him to have a real low, low pad level. He doesn't have that, and that's something I think he's going to have to work on in the NFL as he gets up. But a lot of competition on that, in those trenches. So much, man. I want to see Austin Booker on the run. That's my. That's where I haven't been able to find a lot of tape, a lot of highlights of Austin Booker playing the rush. I just haven't been able to find that much. Pass rushing, yes, but not against running backs. I want to see him and how he plays in that respect. That's something I'm very interested in, to be honest with you. I think that's the one place where, where he might really need to get better, and he probably well knows that too. So I'm excited.
Yes, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
What say you and Mo Fugler to a community shot right now? Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's bust that out. Community shot. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. On count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Community shot.
God bless the chef. God bless the chef.
Boy, Mo Fugler, thank you for that. You just started something we ain't gonna be able to stop over here on the Nomad Network, especially on this show, Nomad at Night. But man, this is
absolutely.
This is so much fun. I think. Let me think. I think it was Adam Mason that just mentioned J2K. How much intrigue is going to be around? Don't forget about Hard Knocks. Those are going to be some good episodes and some good shows. And I think you're going to have what, HBO or HBO Max or something to get those episodes, unless they drop on YouTube a little bit later. But to get those in real time, you're going to have HBO or HBO Max. But he just made a point of talking about the intrigue into this camp There's a reason why Hard Knocks wants to be here, and it and it centers around Caleb Williams. But there are so many things that I just said about these guys that Ryan Poles grabbed during this offseason that are going to add to that intrigue. I think when you get past the Caleb Williams story, I think these other guys on the team are going to add so much effing intrigue to this camp. I don't think people are really understanding how much competition Ryan Poles has brought into this building. I think it's a story. I'm sorry, choked up a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Nomad. That's why we put TJ Edwards on the thumbnail, because he was an undrafted free agent. It's Jack Sanborn, Tyson Bagent. This year's roster is harder to make, yet I still see opportunities for guys like Cromer and Wheeler, right? So there is so much out there. There's so much potential for a guy to make this roster this year. And we're actually going to see it live on Hard Knocks, which is going to be super fun. I mean, I'm going to personally enjoy it as a fan. I understand from a player's perspective, like they just want to, go do their business. But, absolutely right that this is one of the funnest seasons I think we've come across in a very, very long time.
So I will say, before this airs, this season's Hard Knocks will definitely break all the other seasons' records. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to blow up. I'll leave it right there. There will be you'll definitely see on your phone. Oh, Bears Hard Knocks. It's been viewed the most ever. It's the most Hard Knocks ever viewed. So Don Bird's right now. The show is just about this is a drunk show. In any event, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be the biggest Hard Knocks ever. No question.
We've been stepping on you, Naj. We gotta get you in there, man. What are you thinking?
Well, I just think I'm just reading some of the chat. Juku off the dub. I think you've got some really good insight. I think you should try to be on the show one of these days. You've got some really good input. So thanks for joining, and hope to see you again in the chat again soon, buddy.
And hey, shout out to Juku. We'll welcome you on the show, man. Come on in. Let's set it up. Let's make a meeting and talk about that. And we'll get you on the show if you're willing. Dante Purify, my guy. I love Dante Purify. We're on Twitter. We talk all the time on there, man. He's another one that I would love to get on here, man. Hella takes. There's so many people that engage in this show that I want to connect with and try to bring on this show. I would love to get everybody on here, but the ones that are willing, we are more than willing at the Nomad Network to open those doors and get guys off, and get them some notoriety, and maybe they want to do their own things one day. But man, there's so many guys, and I point out Dante and Juku as prime example of that there's so many people that I want to connect to and we want to connect to. Man, you guys just have to reach out. Aunt Maz, all you guys, man. I see all these people in here. Mo Fugra, love to see who you are and find out what you can bring to the table. But if you don't want to do podcasts, that's okay too. You can stay in the chat. That's okay. But those that want to get out of the chat and want to actually contribute to what we do over here at the Nomad Network, I want you to know that those lines of communication are wide open. Just reach out. We'll get you on here. Let me give a shout out to It's Crimson, you dig? $2 super chat. Go Bears. F Green Bay, 63 more days. Don Stew. That's who. Fuck Don, man. I love Don. That Don is my guy, man. We'll get him. I'm telling you, we're gonna get Don on here sooner or later. Don, if you're still in the chat, whether you want to or not, I'll drag your ass on here kicking and screaming.
I'm gonna ghost you again, bro. We were trying to get Don.
Don ends up on a milk carton and try to get him on a show.
Don't worry. Don will disappear again this time next season when we beat him in the playoffs. Watch.
Right. But seriously, you guys come hang out with us on a Sunday night. It's super fun.
At least Chicago knows how to beat San Francisco. That's all I have to say.
There you go.
Man, we got a super. Let me stop for a second to give I got to pay homage to the community that we have together built. Kids, J2K, Naj, we have poured great vibes into the people that have helped us build this community, and they have given it right back to us. The community that we have built together, I am so proud of. I don't give a damn what other channels do as far as views. So I really don't care. This community is the best. This is the best shit ever. This is the best shit ever. Our community is awesome. And I just wanted to just shout them out because the energy they give us when we do these podcasts, especially this show, because we get to be kind of footloose and fancy free. This is the best feeling ever, man. And I just want to say thank you for helping us build this community. You gave us building blocks to really build out this channel and be what we want to be out here and make this thing something that, you know, can really pay dividends out here. We're going to do great charity work with some of the money that you guys give. We already provided something for Brian that helped him, but that's just the beginning. That's just scratching the surface, man. I'm telling you, that's the tip of the iceberg. What we're going to do together is going to do some great things out here in this community. And I just want to thank you guys in advance for that. Go ahead, Notch.
I'm just laughing at Cliff Victoria. Bring it on, brother. Love it.
What Cliff say, man? What did Cliff say this time?
He's just saying he doesn't go to Detroit podcasts to troll them, and so that's why we're Chicago. We just let let people do their own thing. We don't troll too much.
You know what? I think we is divisive as we can be sometimes. I think the Bears community inside this channel is the epitome of what you want as far as a community. If you want to build one, I think we set a standard over here, man. And this shit is
absolutely
awesome. This shit is awesome. People come here and have a good ass time.
Cliff, I definitely have gone back and forth with Don in the chat a million times in the past, and there was a time when I stopped and I started to look for like Detroit Lions podcast to troll, but I couldn't find it. Not even a single Detroit Lions podcast. So there's that.
I don't even know if there's electricity in Detroit. There must be.
But Google must be broken because hey. Anyways, there's Don, we love you. You know we love you. No love to Don Burr as per normal. It's Sunday night, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know we're getting close to about that time. Couple of folks I want to give a shout out to. My guy Keith Harris is in the chat. Big up to Bishop. Big up to you. My guy Brian Hendricks been here the whole time. I know Nomad just mentioned him, but I didn't. So big love to Country Santa. Always respects to you. Respect to Just Be. Let's get it done here, man. Who else is out there that we didn't touch base with? Cliff Victoria, you just mentioned him, but always a shout out to Cliff. Bear Ski Film. Yo, hype having you on. Hype having Adam Mason with us today. Who else we got? Calvin Canterbury. How are you, sir? Thank you for coming, Mr. Mayhem. Thank you for coming. Aunt Mass. Aunt Laborer. What it do, Aunt Laborer? Good to have you. Plankster. Good. Say good night to She Plank for us, please, sir. I give J2K shout outs, but I do it all the time. He's right here with us. What up, J2K?
Really quick. Levante, you got something you want to bring to the table? Levante Rogers, reach out to me, bro. Reach out to any one of us, not just me. Any one of us,
absolutely. Man. And before I continue, Fluid 22 Flocka, give you a little bit of love. Just looking for some folks out there. Dante Purified as well. Look, we're yes, F the G the B. We are we're doing things, guys. We're doing a lot more. J2K sort of opened up his his capabilities, his creativity, not just to me, but also to you guys out there in the world. We're building a community here. I say at the Nomad Network, but it'll be an expansive community that expands beyond the Nomad Network, that also expands beyond just Bears football. But it's always going to be rooted in Bears football because I love Bears football. I know these guys love Bears football. Bear down, y'all. And we're going to continue to build that that community and build it up with stuff that looks a little bit like this.
Dope.
Superflex coming soon. Keep your eyes open and ears open and eyes peeled and all those things. There'll be much more details to share soon. Give you an idea of where we'll be hosting the league, which fantasy football platform it'll be on. We're squaring all that stuff away as we speak, and we'll be over the next week or so. Adam Mason, Bearski Film, by all means, it'd be great to have you playing. If you play fantasy football, it'd be awesome to have you guys in our grander league. Same token, awesome to have you guys on one of the shows on the podcast as we move forward. Throw some of that stuff out there for you guys too, because again, big community things. It's gonna be some fun as we move forward, y'all. Right now, J2K.
Hey, well said, Keds, man. I'm so hyped for your show. I really am. And there is so much in the background that I can't show you guys just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working hard on it, man. We got some fun stuff planned for you guys. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm happy to do design work for all of the community. This is a shout out to you guys. This is specific for you guys. Charles Johnson, I got you, brother. We're going to do some stuff together. Anybody else wants to hit me up, hit me on Twitter. I appreciate you guys. Love chatting with you guys all night. One last time, I'm just going to share this little video with y'all. So hit me up, man. I've created a career out of this and been fortunate enough to be able to offer my skills and do this for free for the community, for everybody who creates content for me, for everybody in the chat who's been there with me in this process. It's about a community. It's about working together. I appreciate you guys. And we're going to make some fun stuff together. And I can't wait for this season. It's going to be one of the funnest seasons I think I've ever experienced as a Bears fan. So I appreciate you guys, everybody here. Naj, how you doing, man?
Just looking forward to this season as well. J2K. Looking forward to this fantasy league. I'm a special teams guy, so if anybody needs any pointers on kickers or holders or punters or long snappers, I'm your guy. So hit me up on Twitter, pound for pound 54. And take it away, fearless leader.
Fearless leader is finding our outro, and you guys, let me hold on. Let me get that off the screen, Brian. I'm sorry, we got to take that down. Listen, you guys, man, I want to before we get out of here, I just want to say thank you one more time. And I don't know that I do that enough, and that's why I'm talking a little bit, probably a lot right now when it comes to that, is because I really do appreciate everybody that's helped us in this year get to where we are. I mean, it takes a community. It really does. It takes a community to get us where we are right now. And the positivity in here and the standards that we've set, that shit means a lot to me. And I know it means a lot to everybody that's involved in this experience that we have going on over here at the Nomad Network. It means a lot to us. But, that being said, keep that energy up, keep that vibe up. And that's just going to grow and balloon. The more you guys support, the more we'll be able to do. That's a given right there. But what I want to leave you guys with is this. And I was talking to J2K a little bit about this in the background.
Okay.
And I'm talking about, what up? I love that plain jersey. That's dope. I wanted to say this to everybody out there. And I don't think people realize, individually, and I want to say this again because my background has always been social service in my adult professional life. I've been serving people for a long time. And in that time, I learned a great deal of things. And, serving is one thing, but then once you realize what you're capable of doing by just doing small things and being consistent about it is what I want to talk to you guys about before we get out of here. And I'm not going to get long-winded about it. What I want to say to you guys is You guys have no idea what you can do with a little bit. Some of you guys don't know have no idea what you can do with a little bit. And sometimes it's let's just say, for instance, you have an extra, an extra amount of income, a little bit of extra money that, expendable income that you have around. Let's just say you got $400 or $500, but you're going to do X amount of things with it. You don't really need it, but you're going to do that with that money. You have a vehicle and with enough seats in it, go around your community. Go around your community and find 5 or 6 people, maybe more. You got a few $100s you can work with. Find people that are without homes, that are without a roof over their head, and figure out what you can do with those people who want to contribute to the community and the society. Homeless people, just because they're homeless, they're still people and they want to contribute. They've just fallen, sometimes, a lot of times it's drug use. Sometimes there are people out there that don't have that problem. They just found themselves in a fixed situation, that they cannot afford. Instead of spending that money on X amount of things, maybe grab some of those people and take them, hey, for this weekend, I want you to do this. Go to some of these city, empty lots that don't have anything on it that's littered with trash. Go and buy some contractor bags. If you don't know what that is, that's a more thorough garbage bag. It's a thicker, more consistent garbage bag. If you've never done that, that's what a contractor bag is. Go grab those people and go take them out and give them a wage. Give them a wage. Give them something to work for and look forward to. And when you have time, going back and do it again. What I'm saying this for is I sense that we have the community of people that have that in mind. I think we have good people here. I think we have good people here that can do more. You know what I mean? And by way of that, you don't have to have a lot in order to give. And you'll find out that those people sitting on the outside of society, on the fringes of society, in the community that want to contribute, they don't want you to come and throw your dollars at them for free. They'll take them, but they want to earn it too. They want to earn it too. Take them out and have them go clean up a lot or 2 or 3, whatever you desire, in order to give them some money. But there's things that you can do. And I think that if you keep things like that in mind, that positive vibe brings a lot of good spirit around you. I came back here to a community around the Chicago area. I'm south of Chicago, and I changed this community by way of doing things individually in my immediate surroundings. I cleaned it up, rebuilt, and I put lights up everywhere, and I put inviting messages around my home, and that start to kind of be contagious, and it filtered out through the rest of the block, and you started to see people doing the same thing I was doing. People were ducking gunshots. It was garbage everywhere. Drug dealers just kind of taking over and didn't like my presence. But guess what? Light won in the end. Light beat darkness, like it always will. And that's the message. Be the light in the darkness. Go and be the light in a dark community that's dirty, that's crime-ridden. Be the light there. Cut out a damn garden, whatever you need to do, but visualize what you can do in a space and make it better around you. And that's the message I have for you guys tonight. Hopefully, you guys, that hit home with somebody. Somebody out there is going to listen to this, is going to do exactly or something similar to what I said. And thank you in advance for doing it, because it's easy. It's easy. Just give a little bit and get a whole bunch back. That's all it is. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to everybody that was engaged in the show tonight, involved, everybody that contributed to the show tonight. This shit was so fucking fun. I can't even describe it. But it was a good show, and I had a good time, and I know everybody else did too. But thank you guys for being here tonight. It was fun. Make sure you join us on Tuesday for Nomad Live with Sean, myself, kids, and probably Brian or somebody. But come and join us for that show. We're going to start getting ready for this training camp. But good show tonight. And I just want to make sure I leave you guys with something beautiful. And that is, if you can think it, you can see it, and you can damn sure manifest it. With that being said, we are out. Have a good evening, you guys.
Salute.